Oda, why did you do this? Alright, so in this video, I'm mainly just going to be talking about the end of this chapter because clearly this is the only thing anybody is talking about. I mean, it's trending, it's a huge moment, and there's so many possibilities to explain what is going on here. So I'm going to go over the most plausible ones, or the most popular ones, I guess. I can't go over every single thing. Well, I'll try to do my best here because there's only so much sense that we can make of this. So first, let me explain how we got here. So picking up from the ending of chapter 1004, we're coming back to the scabbards in the treasure repository behind the tower. So they're all awake now and they're like, who tended to us? And Kawamatsu says, I don't know. I feel as though I saw, but it must have been a dream because it couldn't possibly be true. And then Kinemon says Luffy's group is engaging with Kaido now. The battle still rages all over the island. We must go there. There is still life left in us to spend. And then the door opens and it's straight up Oden here. And he says, just look at you. You've gone through hell. I missed you. You're much older now. Ha ha ha. So yeah, at first reading this, you're like, what? Whoa, this is cool. But then afterwards, the dopamine dies down and then reality starts to set in and you're like, oh, well, this is kind of problematic now. Which goes back to me saying like, Oda, why did you do this? Why is Oden here? Like I said, there's a few possibilities and I'll start breaking them down now. So the first one, and this is the one that I hope is true, but at the same time, it's probably not. And it was that Oden was straight up sent 20 years into the future with Toki's fruit. So if you look at Oden's swords, he doesn't have his original pair. One is with Tenguyama, I think, and then Enma's obviously with Zoro. So that makes sense, but what doesn't make sense here is, I mean, aside from just us seeing Oden die, you know, he would probably be damaged, right? He was boiled alive and he was shot in the head. So like, he's looking fine here, right? Now also going back to chapter 1004, we saw what appeared to be a woman, I guess. Who could either be Hiyori or Toki, you know, who tended to the scabbards here. So a possibility is that Toki somehow got to Oden before he died and then sent them both into the future. And then she tended to Oden and nursed him back to health. I don't know, over the course of a couple days maybe? And then she went in there and then helped the scabbards and then Oden came in afterwards? I don't know, that just sounds way too good to be true. And if this is the case, why is he just showing up now? Why didn't he already attack Kaido or just anyone else? How did he get to the treasure room without being spotted by Bao Wang? And when he says, you're so much older now, is he saying that to all of them? Or is he just kind of saying it about the ones who didn't jump through the future? Meaning that, you know, does Oden know? Does he not know? The possibility of this is low, but I certainly hope that this is the case because I'm a sucker for when dead characters come back to life in battle manga. So besides time travel, let's have an even bigger stretch and say that this is some kind of ethereal version of Oden or something. Like before Oden dies, he says to Kaido, like, my soul will live on. So is this like his soul living on? I don't know. I hope not. I mean, the only thing that I can really think of that is even similar to an instance of this happening is like with the Mary. Going back to like pre-time skip when the Mary had like sentience to it for some reason, which as far as I know is still not explained to this day. Or maybe it has something to do with how Brook's devil fruit works. And maybe this is just a temporary, peaceful apparition of Oden to come and inspire the scabbards here. I don't know. Like I said, big stretch, and I hope that that's not the case, but it is a possibility. So now let's go into more realistic scenarios. So this could be one of Kanjuro's ink clones. This makes more sense than anything in my opinion because, you know, Kanjuro, I don't think that he was dead or truly defeated. Like, it was kind of weird and anticlimactic how he was taken out, right? It was like off panel and then they kind of just moved on past him. So I think we all assumed that Kanjuro was probably gonna come back. Another thing to point out is that Fukurokuju kind of like drifts off and just goes elsewhere. And it's possible that he went to go help out Kanjuro because he's like a Kurozumi. So now that Kanjuro's back, he figures out where the scabbards are. Obviously he still wants to finish them off or whatever. So he's like, hey, you know what would be a really evil cool thing for me to do. Let me just make an Oden clone and then trick them and then have the Oden clone fight them. And then, I don't know, maybe they can't fight back against Oden and that's how I kill them. And if anybody knows how to make Oden, it would be Kanjuro, and he would know that he doesn't have his swords too, so he could make those finer nuances to this. But why even do that? Like, we already hate Kanjuro. You don't have to make us, the audience, hate him anymore. Although Oda does do stuff like this in his arcs. He does double down all the time. So that could just be what's happening here. Another realistic possibility is that this is Onimaru. And I know that Onimaru has never shown like the ability to like one-for-one replicate people like this, but no, he is some kind of nine-tailed fox or Kasune or whatever, so maybe he does have that ability, even though Katarino Devon has that fruit, and we'll talk about her next because she's a small possibility, I guess. Maybe he has an analog to that fruit or something. But that would also explain that instead of it being Toki who helped the Scabbards originally, that it was actually Hiyori. And Hiyori met up with Onimaru in Ringo, where I guess they both were the last time. And they came here, somehow got into the castle, bypassed everything, and then for some reason it's revealed now that Onimaru has this ability to become others, even though he could have easily shown this before, but he didn't. And you think that he certainly would have. And then maybe Hiyori was like, hey, give them a pep talk or something. Tell them that they don't have to give their lives anymore for Oden. And also that could go back to what Kinemon's saying here. Is like the battle still rages all over the island. We must go there. There is still life left in us to spend. So that could be Hiyori like trying to get them to not have to give their lives. They'd be like, hey, you know what? Act like my dad. And just be like, hey, you don't gotta give your lives for me. Just live on. Just win the battle and then just continue to live on in, you know, post-Paradise Wano. But this keeps bringing me back to why? Why bring back Oden just for this like weird motivational pep talk? But anyway, we mentioned Katarino Devon. She does have the Nine Tails fruit, which allows her to become one-for-one recreations of people. And she could become Oden, but like, why would she? How does she know anything? Why would she be here? I mean, I guess Blackbeard could have spies in Wano, but like, wasn't he going after something that the Marines were going after or something? So like, what is the point of all of this? If it is Katarino Devon, I don't know. It's a possibility, but it doesn't seem likely. Keeping the theme of people who can replicate people, this could be Bon Clay. I don't know why he's here. I don't know why he would know all of this stuff. I mean, in the flashback, we did see that Kurozumi lady did have the Mane Mane no Mi, so that could have been showing us that like, hey, that fruit's gonna come back into this arc later, maybe. And then I guess the last possibility is that Hiyori has a devil fruit and that this is it. She has like some kind of devil fruit that allows her to like project things or create hallucinations or put you into a dreamlike state or make you see a vision or something. And if that is her ability, then that would make the most sense in my opinion, to like make them think that this was like a dream or a vision or something, rather than it like tangibly happening, you know, just for the sake of a pep talk. But I guess that's all of the realistic possibilities for what's going on here. Let me know what you think's going on with this sequence. I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments. If you like the video, guys, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.